Okay, so welcome everyone. Glad everybody could come out on a semi-cold winter night. I think I got a few things of interest for everyone in the group today. As you can see here, we have Orlando, Brightline, San Francisco, and a shot over at the Portal Bridge construction in Kearny, New Jersey. Bob read off the list of what you're going to see today. Obviously, that's just sort of an outline. There's a lot more than that that you will see. So I will get into it. You had a moment of silence before for Sandy. I just want to mention, I don't know if you did last month, Bob, at the November meeting, but Eric Bollert, a longtime ERA member, also passed away recently. Good friend of mine and friend of many on the show today. So we will certainly miss him. Getting into the show, I did finally get some nice scan slides added to the presentation. This is a Kodachrome original from July 7th, 1946 at St. George in Staten Island. You can see this is just a few days after the June 26th fire in the background. The terminal had burned down, and here is the railroad into the terminal with tracks off to the left going to the North Shore branch. Basically, if you take this picture today, that's what you're going to see. You can see, if you can follow my mouse over here, that's the only bit of platform that you can see anymore from St. George. It's all been covered up with this shopping center. This is a picture taken in September. Another view at St. George. Everybody knows St. George for the famous Staten Island ferry, lifeline for Staten Islanders to reach Manhattan, and a very scenic ride for anyone on the boat commuting or tourists. So since we're talking about Staten Island, oldest subway cars in New York City are those R44s, built by St. Louis Car in 1973. The end is near. Some brand new R211 cars have already made their way onto Staten Island, and they will eventually be replaced. So go get your pictures now. That's the Clifton Maintenance Shop, which has been there for years, but this particular building opened in December 2022. It is storm resistant, and lessons learned from Hurricane Sandy and some other inclement weather events that did quite a bit of damage here. Notice the New York skyline in the background. This is a picture I always wanted to take. And there are 58 of those R44 cars in service. There's a closer view so you can see what they look like. They're certainly showing their age. I was out in Staten Island this week. Go get your pictures soon. This is the Dongan Hill station. And back from the Kodachrome original files, this is the Arlington station on the North Shore branch, which closed March 31st, 1953. North Shore branch was 5.2 miles from St. George out here. I've always wanted to see a Kodachrome original, and I just recently purchased this for my collections. Heading to some other topics of interest, Metro North has been painting up some locomotives for special 40th anniversary colors. That's a heritage engine that's been around for many years. That's one of Connecticut Department of Transportation's 4 Genesis engines, which are used throughout the Metro North system. This is a full foliage shot taken in October in Ridgefield, Connecticut on the Danbury branch between the Branchville and Reading stations. So I've been trying to take this picture with as many different colors as I can find. That's again, the New Haven color that's been around a while. That's the first 40th anniversary Metro North engine in the Metro North FL9 Beach Ball colors. And there's the Conrail Heritage Engine 201 with a few minutes of light left. And you can see how the foliage has changed from peak orange to winter bare. Taking a look at some of the heritage engines, here's 2 of them on a inspection train crossing the Harlem River Lift Bridge at CP4. I'm standing, or I am standing in the Mott Haven section of the Bronx. The old New York Central 138th Street station was right behind me over my right shoulder. That's the newest heritage engine, the New York Central Locomotive 211. This was its first day in service a few weeks ago. It's really nice to see railroads and companies throughout the country remembering the heritage. It's not only for rail fans, but I'm sure it's interesting for customers to see as well. Here's 208 on the first day. at 125th Street Station in Harlem. Here's 208 on that same inspection train at South Norwalk, coming off the Danbury branch at this point. Two of those three cars are the famous Lackawanna Phoebe Snow cars. The car in the middle is a car originally from New York Central. Here's the train coming through Rowayton on its way west on the New Haven line. Back to those original four heritage engines. This is the Branchville station on the Danbury branch. Here is a New Haven being passed by the Conrail Heritage last month at Wilton. And a couple of close-up views of 201, the Conrail Heritage in Grand Central, when it was freshly in service. Nice Conrail stripe. And the 40th anniversary logo for Metro North. This was just last week. Metro North ran some holiday trains to various facilities throughout the 3 east of Hudson lines. Here's the train at Rye Station heading out on the New Haven line. Followed closely behind by a New York Central livery Genesis engine. Note the Penn Central logo under the engineer's window. Here is the train going over the Walk Drawbridge in Norwalk, the crossing of the Norwalk River. This is a 127-year-old bridge, which is about to be replaced. 564-foot, 4-track swing bridge, oldest in the region, carries 125,000 passengers on a weekday. They're building a bridge next to it to replace it, and it will be complete supposedly in 2029. Phase 1 just got started, which you can see here with the construction. And here is that train coming back with the New York Central leading, passing the East Norwalk station. I've always liked taking pictures here because, as you see on the building, there is a New Haven logo with the East Norwalk sign, kind of giving a nod to history here as well. Crossing the Hudson, New Jersey Transit has a new heritage engine. This is 4210 GP40 PH-2, painted in a nice Erie railroad livery. This is at the Hoboken terminal. Note the heritage engine behind it in the New Jersey DOT colors. This was on December 1st for the Railmen's for Santa train. New Jersey Transit employees help some children from the region and take them on a nice train ride to see Santa and other holiday type things. Railmen's for children. I think I said Railmen's for Santa. Again, this is Hoboken Terminal. Nice view of the Erie logo. And here is that engine in use last weekend on some tri-state railfan group Santa trains on the Boonton branch. Great place to run trains on weekends where there is no service. And here is that Erie engine and the CNJ engine behind it on the train, passing the old Boonton station, which is now a restaurant. And here is that train at Lincoln Park, heading back to Wayne for another trip. On the same day, the Susquehanna ran their Christmas train. Here we are at Wyckoff Station. That's New York Susquehanna and Western's SD40-2 3024, which was repainted in this historic silver and maroon color. Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate this morning, but at least we got it. And there's a picture over the Midland Park station. You can see how many people come to bring toys. This is the annual Toys for Tots train, which I think I forgot to mention. Another good cause. Heading back to the city. Here we see New York and Atlantic Railways RS40 heading east from Fresh Pond Yard out to the Central Branch. This is crossing underneath the New York City Transit's J and Z trains. And in the background, you can see the former Long Island Railroad's Richmond Hill station on the lower Montauk branch. News in this picture would be the third rail you see by the engines. There is a project now to replace a bridge over the Van Wyck Expressway, and this trackage here is going to be used to relay some electric trains to help get them out of the way there with the congestion. So that third rail is brand new in this picture. A view of the Morris Park shops for the Long Island Railroad, where much of the diesel maintenance is done. This is the White Pot Junction, the place where the main line and the Rockaway Beach branch used to diverge. I'm sorry, that's on the main line. The Rockaway Beach branch used to diverge here until 1962. The tracks used to swing off to the left here. That is a picture of, I guess, the northbound Rockaway Beach branch track heading onto the westbound mainline track. That's the connection there. This is a few feet back. I just wanted to throw this picture in. You can see the rail in the foreground. You see the apartment buildings in the background. Same exact place in the 1950s on an ERA trip. There we see two RDCs. You can see the mainline track in the background as well. So as I said, I dug out some of the 1950 shots to throw in here for today. Another view of the Rockaway Beach branch, that's the Ozone Park station. Platforms are still there. The trains ran here again until 1962. Same exact place in the other direction. You can see that the Rockaway Beach branch continued further along down into Rockaway. That part of track was taken over by New York City Transit and the A line today. And you can see the elevated crossing the railroad is the A train to Lefferts Boulevard off to your left here in this view. So if you look at this picture here from the air and you go down on the track in 1962, you would see that. And there's a picture of our newest subways in New York, the R211s, coming from Rockaway headed toward Manhattan. And you can see the condition of the Rockaway Beach branch in the view. Speaking of subways, those are the R32s slowly being dismantled and scrapped. Originally, they were sent by railroad out to Ashtabula, Ohio for scrapping. Now they're being scrapped in Jersey City, adjacent to Greenville Yard. This was taken last weekend in Jersey City. Since I usually cover the news events of the prior year, we have to mention the East Side Access opening with Grand Central Direct service. Here's the first train sitting in the station after arriving on opening day. This is January 25th, 2023, the $11 billion station here at Grand Central Madison. I'm sure almost everyone in the tri-state area on this show has probably visited this beautiful station. This was the crew on the first train that came in. They were happy to pose for a picture. That's a friend of mine, Fred Jones, showing the souvenir ticket that was given out on the opening train ride. And a few pictures around the mezzanine here. Everyone, including employees, were taking pictures. Beautiful design, nice elevators, escalators, I should say. Nice nod to history here. Long Island Railroad C420 on the wall. Beautiful place to visit if you haven't been there yet. So while we're on the subject of new things, this is the Orlando Brightline station, which opened September 23rd of this year. 235 miles from here to Miami. It's a beautiful ride, intercity high-speed rail running on its own private right of way for the first miles from Orlando to Cocoa, and on the FEC freight from Cocoa down to Miami. This is the station. It had just been open for 2 weeks at this point. So you saw the power car before, the Siemens Charger. These are the Venture cars that are part of the train set. Each car has a color, bright orange, bright yellow, bright blue, bright red. Fits with the Florida theme of bright. Here we are again at the Orlando station. That's a train relaying into the yard, which is sort of just south of the station. The station is in Terminal C of Orlando International Airport, so it's convenient for those flying or those needing to park their car. So I will show you the Brightline network. This is the station in Terminal C. There is everything you could possibly think with traveling is done by Brightline. Nice lounge here. There is a premium lounge for people who want to pay extra, have food, and have people wait on them. That's the lounge there, and the food is where those people are waiting. There are souvenir stores selling Orlando merchandise or Brightline t-shirts and hats, things like that. That's the regular lounge for anyone else to use. Looks very nice and clean. The station platform is beautiful. For rail fans, you cannot go on the platform unless you have a ticket. Just an FYI for any future trips. Both directions here for our train. View inside the Siemens-built Venture train set cars. I'm going to follow the line from Orlando down. This is on the high-speed part where it's Brightline only. There are some single-track sections. This is adjacent to Florida Route 528. I rode on bright blue down to Miami, and we did hit 128 miles an hour, and there's the proof. So that was really impressive to ride in a diesel light rail, a diesel train in the US that was going 128 miles an hour. Couple of pictures along the high-speed stretch. That train was wrapped for the opening in Orlando. At this point, we've joined the Florida East Coast. We're in Palm Bay. I was lucky enough to get a freight in the other direction. They use those liquefied natural gas GE ES44 C4s to run. As the sun is setting in Stewart, one last picture of a train crossing the St. Lucie River. The boat was nice enough to stay in the view. Heading further south, West Palm Beach Station. You can see it there on the right. There's quite a bit of service from West Palm Beach to Miami. They had limited train service to Orlando, but everything has now been extended through. Train sitting here in the station with a Palm Tran bus. And that's the Orlando wrap. Heading further south, the Boca Raton station. Nice retro parking lot. The main line from Fort Lauderdale to West Palm Beach opened January 2018. It was extended to Miami in March of 2018. The Boca station here opened in December 2022, and the Aventura station near Miami opened the same time, December 2022. So these were add-on stations. Here's two trains passing at the Boca station. And this is adjacent to the Fort Lauderdale Brightline station where we are here. That's the famous Fort Lauderdale Water Tower. And that's the station. The bus terminal's over my left shoulder. Convenient transferring there should that need to happen. And the Aventura station just north of Miami. It's a little like an airline. You have to go through an X-ray machine. You have to have tickets, but it's pretty quick and painless. This is inside the Aventura station. They have nice stores with all kinds of amenities. It's all paid without employees. You take it and scan it and walk out with your credit card, and everything seems to work. It's the premium lounge back there where they have food waiting for you. And they have these things all over the place where you can take selfies in front of a Brightline poster. And that's the Aventura station and the walkway to get to the platform. Nice graphics, displays, and most importantly, nice trains. This is bright orange. You can see above smart, bright orange. And this is the Miami Central Station, the south end of the line. Platform on the left, in the very near future, is supposed to be used by Tri-Rail trains, the commuter rail that runs down from West Palm Beach into Miami. I just read something about that starting very soon. But here's the Brightline station. And inside here, same graphics and places to take selfies and lounges and things like that. You can save a lot of paper towels by using their air system. This is a several-story building, so lots of turns and corners, but everything is graphically appealing. And here's the entrance on the street level. And literally, if you just walk over my left shoulder, you get to the metro. But here's a sunny view of a train leaving the station. You can see the metro sort of just out of view to the right. It's just, the metro is right next to Brightline. And there's the sign leading you that way. We'll take a quick look at the Miami Metro. This is the Metro Lit Rail. There's 2 lines now, 24.4 miles, 23 stations. They run in 4 or 6 car sets. Opened in 1984. There's 136 of these cars from Hitachi Rail Italy. They replaced the original cars a few years ago. These are really nice to ride, really comfortable, and they have really good air conditioning. This is the Vizcaya station, sort of just south of downtown Miami, paralleling Route 1. We had the pleasure of riding in early October, getting a few pictures of the new cars in service, also Vizcaya with the Brickell and downtown Miami skyline. This is the University of Miami station. They painted the pillars like dominoes. That's kind of interesting under the train. Sun was trying to break through. We were lucky to get a few sun shots. This is the southern terminal at Dadeland South, where Miami built a busway to go further down. A view inside one of the cars. And the People Mover system, or they call it the Metro Mover system, excuse me, is a free automated system extended to Brickell in 1994. This line right here. There's 3 lines and 21 stations, and 29 of these Bombardier Innovia APM 100 cars in service. Is probably the most scenic place to take pictures of the line crossing the Miami River here from either the 5th Street station that I'm standing at or across the river at the Riverwalk station. 2 cars passing each other here at 5th. That's the Knight Center building there with the platform sort of in the middle of the building. And the western end of the metro seen here at the Tri-Rail Metro Rail transfer station. These pictures were all taken in the course of about 10 minutes. 2 of the Hitachi trains. And as I mentioned, the Tri-Rail transfer station, a BL-36 built by Brookville, part of their main power, and recently rebuilt F-40s in a very interesting new livery. They've just started to wrap the cars to match these engines, which I saw this week as well. So I was lucky enough to get 3 Tri-Rail trains in the course of 5 minutes and a CSX freight train heading to Hialeah and point south on CSX. And looking in the other direction, that is a Tri-Rail train crossing the Florida East Coast tracks. That's what they call CP Iris. And just to close the loop, that's the Amtrak station in Miami, technically Hialeah. This is supposed to eventually move to the Miami Airport station. I'll show you that in a couple minutes. But this is where Amtrak runs now from Miami. This is the Miami International Airport station. That is a tri-rail train which terminates here, and the metro was extended here, which you see above and in the next picture. And this grade crossing seems to be the reason why Amtrak is not accessing the station yet. The trains are too long and they would foul the crossing. So they're trying to figure out how to fix that now. So that is the entrance to the tri-rail station, which already has the Amtrak logo up, even though it is not yet in use. And that is the Miami Airport people mover in the background on the left. One last tri-rail shot, one of the Brookville locomotives at the Sheridan Street station. Now we'll head back up to Orlando, where we started our Florida journey. This is the APTA Expo in early October of this year. It's the flagship event for public transit. There are displays by transportation manufacturers, parts manufacturers, basically anything that has anything to do with transportation is at this event, and things are on display, and there's a lot of networking and meeting of people. Alstom had this light rail car on display. You can go inside. Sometimes they even have snacks, but this is Alstom. The bus manufacturers are there as well. That's a Gillig bus that's going to go to Charlotte on display. We even have a Orange County streetcar on display from Siemens that will be running in California soon. It's interesting to see what comes to these events. It's also very hard to take pictures without people in the way. Caltrain brought one of the electric MUs that will be running in San Francisco soon. I said Caltrain. Stadler brought one of Caltrain's EMUs, double-deck buses, all kinds of things, Eldorado buses. Very interesting thing to see. And while you're in Orlando, you have to visit Sunrail, the commuter system there. Started May 1st in 2014. I have not been there since they opened this extension in July of 2018 from Sand Lake Road southwest. And this is the first station, Meadow Woods, on that extension. They use these interesting MP32PH-Qs built by MPI in Boise, Idaho, originally ex-Mark from Maryland locomotives. So these things make all kinds of interesting sounds and sound like ancient locomotives, but they look somewhat modern. Here's the Tupperware station. Apparently the Tupperware factory is adjacent to the station and they paid to have their name on it. I didn't know Tupperware still existed. Coming into Tupperware, the Kissimmee station, nice bus transfer place over my left shoulder here. Cars were built by Bombardier and Plattsburgh. Another view of one of the ex-Mark locomotives. And heading south again on that extension. This is the Poinciana station. This is the current western terminal of the line. Heading up from Florida on our way back to New York, this is Norfolk, Virginia. This is the Amtrak station there, which opened in December of 2012 on the Norfolk Southern, $3.75 million extension. This was the nearest Amtrak station to home that I had not yet photographed. Here is a train coming into the station, and here it is passing the passengers. This is one of the Northeast regionals that heads from Norfolk to New York with an engine change in Washington. But while we're here, we'll take a look at the Tide Light Rail, which, as we all know, opened in August of 2011. And they use these nice Siemens S70 cars to operate the line. Biggest difference from my last visit is most of the cars are wrapped now. I only saw one that wasn't in the time that I was here. And all the pictures were by the Harbor Park station. That's the one that was not wrapped. And here it is coming back. And my reason to come here today was I actually went to a baseball game. Norfolk Tides are a Orioles minor league affiliate. You can see the light rail toward the right of the view, just how close it is. And that's actually pretty much from my seat, looking at the light rail. Just a quick picture in the stadium. Kinder Morgan GE 110-ton locomotive, Pier 9 in Newport News, Virginia. Lots of interesting industrial stuff in this area. One of Norfolk Southern's heritage engines that is not seen too often is based down here. This is the Norfolk and Portsmouth Beltline, again, a predecessor of Norfolk Southern, GP38-2, right here near downtown Norfolk. This is the Amtrak station in Newport News, which was built in 1981. Picture looking at that station. This station will close soon. If we read the sign, it should have closed 3 years ago, but it has not. That's the new station under construction. This should open in 2024. You can see the platforms in, and that dirt pile there. They're actually going to put the Y in so that they can turn trains around here. Lee Hall, Virginia, famous station on the former Chesapeake and Ohio. Amtrak does not stop here, it just passes. Another view at Lee Hall. Williamsburg, Virginia, and Transit Center, built in 1935 by the Chesapeake and Ohio. Local buses meet the train, take people throughout Williamsburg. CSX now runs on the C&O trackage. So we have finished our trip to Florida. Now we're going to get on JetBlue, make our way out to California. This is the Burbank Airport. For a New Yorker to see a sign that mentions earthquakes, it's a little interesting to see. We will take a look at the Arrow line, which is a diesel light rail that is part of the Metrolink network, the commuter train in Los Angeles. This opened in October of 2022. And it connects the Redlands area with San Bernardino, so people can access downtown Los Angeles. Is the Arrow logo, and some other markings on the car showing you that it was built by a Stadler. They use the 3 of these Flirt DMUs. This is the transfer station between Metrolink commuter trains and the Arrow in San Bernardino, called San Bernardino Downtown. Bus rapid transit, bringing people to the station. Note the left side door, which is kind of rare to see today. This first station out is called San Bernardino Tipicing. A couple pictures here. This is sort of an industrial area. And there's a nice station in downtown Redlands. The DMUs access the downtown area, bringing people to the businesses. So quite a few people getting off here for the two or three trains that I saw. And the eastern terminal is Redlands University Station. Two-track terminal. I didn't read anything about plans for expansion, but you can see the end of track here, again at Redlands University. And back to downtown San Bernardino, you can see the convenient transfer between the DMU and the Metrolink for downtown LA. 909 is an EMD F125. Nice big engine. And coming into LA on Metrolink, here we are in San Gabriel, the El Monte busway in the middle of I-10, and that's a MP36-PH built by MPI. Always wanted to take a picture here of a train passing all the traffic, but fortunately for the motorists, today was not a bad traffic day. Everyone knows the Hollywood sign. A few pictures for human interest in here. A LA dash bus heading up to the area around the Hollywood sign. Santa Monica, the place that a lot of people visit in LA on the Pacific, is now part of the LA Metro network. The E line was extended here in 2016. This is the map that's on the schedule. There was a lot of combining of routes when a downtown connector was open, which I'll get to later. And this now is a very long line from Atlantic to Santa Monica, what used to be the Expo line. So let's take a look at this extension in Santa Monica. Lots of local buses feed the trains here as well. This is the terminal, basically 1 block from the Pacific. This line is 22 miles in length, combining the western part of the Expo line and the eastern part of the Gold line into the E line. This is a Kinki Charju P3010 car, built between 2014 and 2020. There's a lot of these in service in LA. I always wanted to get a picture with that Santa Monica Pier and the light rail as if possible, and that's about as good as you can do. Here's a car wrapped, basically explaining that the A and E lines will be created with the opening of that downtown connector, which I'll show you later. A few pictures in the street in Santa Monica. Free track terminal. I did see somebody get off a train with the surfboard. Nice station, a lot of nice graphics. Heading east on the line, here's the Westwood Rancho Park Station. Coming into Culver City. Again, this is the extension part of what used to be the Expo line. And part of the original Expo line, the Expo Crenshaw Station, with another one of these Kinki Charju cars. Just to the left of this view is the connection with the K line. You have to walk in the street to get there, and there are elevators and escalators going down. Here's a map of the K line, which opened October 2022. It will be part of a larger line extension to the airport connection with the C line when that part is built. But for now, it is just 6 stations. And now we'll go downstairs at Crenshaw and Exposition. This is the K line platform downstairs. The connection with the C line is supposed to open in late 2024. No problems taking pictures. Everybody was friendly. There are employees at every station on the platform. Continuing on the K line, Hyde Park. We think gas prices are bad in the New York area. Wow. Fairview Heights Station. Downtown Inglewood. Lots of nice graphics and buildings throughout the system. LA has really come a long way. You can get pretty much anywhere by public transit. Downtown Inglewood. All these last 3 shots were there. Feeder buses to the station. Crossing the 405 highway. About to enter the Westchester neighborhood. And this is the terminal station for now at Westchester Veterans. The line will continue from here to reach the airport soon. A few pictures on the platform. If you like light rail, I definitely suggest going to LA. All right, so we'll take a little break from the Metro, which we'll come back to. This is the Disney Adventure Park red car trolley in Anaheim, California, part of one of the Disney theme parks. 3-foot, 3 3/8 inch gauge tram, opened June 2012 using 2 Brookville-built cars. All the overhead wire stuff is just fake for authenticity. Battery powered, 8-minute service all day. This very interesting and nice thing to ride, and it makes the park visit very nice. This is car 623, inspired by the 600 series built by St. Louis Car Company in 1922, what they called the Hollywood cars. The reason it has the 23 in the number, that's the year Walt Disney came to California. This is the station right by the entrance to the park. This is the other car, 717, inspired by the 700 to 750 J.G. Brill cars from 1925. 717 is the opening date of Disneyland. So they do think of interesting things here. This is non-revenue trackage. This is heading to the car barn. I was following the tram to the car barn to take pictures, and I was surrounded by 10 people who said I couldn't take pictures of the car going into the shop. So I won't show those here. So this is the line. 2 cars pass each other. There's several passing points. There's only 4 stations or 4 stops, but definitely something that you should check out. And note the fake background there. You could see the real blue sky and the movie blue sky there. Somebody usually walks in front of the car to make sure that nobody gets run over. There is quite a bit of foot traffic here, and I could see that being a problem. Couple pictures at night, Hollywood Boulevard station. Okay, let's head down to San Diego. Again, keeping the theme of showing new things that have just opened or recent openings. This is the Mid-Coast Trolley Extension, which you can see the northern part of the blue line here on the map, opened in November of 2022. 10.9-mile extension from Old Town Center up to University City in San Diego, 2.1 billion. This is the terminal station called UTC, which is University Town Center Shopping Center, University City, as I mentioned before. Here's 2 cars. 5055 is a Siemens S700 car from 2021. 4047 is an S70 built in 2012. The platform is accessed by 2 walkways over my right shoulder. You can see across from the parking area and the bus terminal. The light rail cars, the line is elevated. There's a picture of the bus terminal, and you can see the end of track, a couple of car lengths there for storage. And again, a very convenient bus terminal with a lot of transfer capabilities, including this Suburban Breeze bus from Ocean County. UC San Diego Health Station, the second station, prepaid fare control, information booths, and the platform also elevated. A couple of pictures here. It's a nice zoom view from the outbound platform of the light rail cars approaching. This is the VA Medical Center station, very well used. This picture is taken in the other direction. Looks like you're back in Disneyland, but that's a Church of Latter-day Saints in the background. And whenever you're in San Diego, you go to the Santa Fe Depot, built by the ATSF in 1915. I haven't been here in many years, so good to see some updated stuff. Pacific Surfliners are now run with Chargers, the SC-44 model, Amtrak Pacific Surfliners. Coaster, the commuter train, has the same locomotives, so lots of new locomotives in Southern California. The Coaster runs from here up to Oceanside, with making stops along the coast, obviously. And the light rail accesses the station as well. So lots of things to see at the Santa Fe Depot. heading back to LA. 3 new stations in downtown. This is what I was talking about before. The A&E lines basically replaced the Expo and Gold lines. This was done June of 2023, 1.9 miles of new track. The E line now is Santa Monica to East LA, and the A line is Long Beach to Azusa. The A line is 48.5 miles long, and Wikipedia claims it's the longest light rail line in the world. So we have to check that if that's true. But these are the 3 new stations that opened with the connection, and I'll show you some pictures down on the platform. This is the Little Tokyo Arts District. Lots of nice graphics on these 3 stations. And as I mentioned before, there are employees on every platform. This is the first view we've had of one of the older cars, the Anisaldo Breda 2550 cars built between 2005 and 2011. These are really the only 2 that are running now. The historic Broadway station. Each station looks a little bit different. Then the Breda car. Nice and clean. It is new, but it's nice and clean. And this is the 3rd station, Grand Avenue Arts, Bunker Hill. Very deep station. Here's the elevators. Now we'll take a look at the E line. I'm sorry, the A line, the one that I told you was the longest. This is part of the original Gold line at the Lake Station in the middle of the I-210 in Pasadena. Always like these highway shots passing the traffic. You got a Kiki Sharju here, and then a Breda on the next train. Now we'll head east to the new part of the line, which opened in 2016. You can see the map on the left from Arcadia up to APU. That's the part that opened in 2016. This is the Arcadia station. Nice parking garage here. Nice mountains in the background. Nice little square bus transfer area. You can see the light rail crossing in the background. Heading east on the line, Monrovia Station. Huge parking garage here. Lots of graphics explaining what's going on. The old Santa Fe station is adjacent to the new light rail station. You can see it there. Nice graphics explaining the transportation history in the area. The yard just east of Monrovia for the Gold Line extension, which is now Line A. This is the Duarte City of Hope station. And here is the Irwindale station. Little freight spur on the left to access a brewery. A police officer on the left was very friendly. Self-explanatory. Miller Brewing coming into Irwindale. And this is the Azusa downtown station. I like how they painted these relay boxes with the LA Metro and the old Pacific Electric. Nod toward history. Lots of bus transfers here as well. Foothill Transit. And the Current end of the line, APU Citrus College. That's Azusa Pacific University for APU. View of the end. The line is supposed to be extended in December of 2024 behind me for several stations. LA just keeps adding and adding. They're very impressive. Just a couple of highlight shots from California, Joshua Tree National Park. Always like to throw in a few scenic pictures to go between the transit stuff. Beautiful place to visit, except of course when it's 112 degrees. But we did okay. And Yosemite National Park is just a beautiful place. I can't even show it to you in 2 or 3 pictures. I could go on, but we'll leave it at that. And Yosemite has a railroad, the Yosemite Mountain Sugar Pine Railroad. 402 is a narrow gauge center cab that, according to everything online, says doesn't run all that often. So I guess I got lucky this day. And the idea was to visit San Francisco. I hadn't been here since 2007, so great to see all the changes that happened here. One thing that doesn't change, the Golden Gate Bridge in the clouds. It took like 3 days to be able to take a picture of this in the sun, but a very impressive 1 mile wide suspension bridge opened in 1937, connecting San Francisco and Marin County. Starting right with the news, Caltrain is in the process of electrification. You saw one of their EMUs at the APTA Expo pictures I showed earlier. They bought 2 Amtrak AEM7s for electric testing here. One was repainted into Caltrain colors. The other was not, but they were out for pictures on this day near downtown San Francisco. I'll show you a few pictures of Caltrain. I thought this was kind of appropriate because the next time I come, the electric will probably be in service. We'll start at the Hillsdale station. Lots of infrastructure changes here with catenary being put up and all kinds of, redone platforms and different things. Caltrain still has plenty of these F40s in service in this livery. A few minutes after taking this picture, I was lucky to get a freight train coming through. Heading north towards San Francisco, this is the San Mateo station with the 2 former Metrolink from LA coaches on the train. A couple of pictures at San Mateo. So reading all the literature on the electrification, when everything's in full swing, there will be approximately 75% of the service will be powered by EMUs and 25% will remain with diesels. Here we are at the Burlingame station. And one of the MP36PHs on one of the baby bullet trains. There's a few of these in service. And the downtown terminal used to be 4th and Townsend. I think it just says San Francisco now. I asked permission to go out on the platform because they closed the doors. They said, sure. I went out here and then I got locked in, but didn't have to stay there too long. Bear with me 1 second. Of course, you have to visit the cable cars while you're in San Francisco. It's just amazing to see these things run. This is cable car number 2, built in 1893 by the Carter brothers, rebuilt by Muni in 1971. Note Alcatraz in the background. This is along Hyde Street. Very amazing thing to ride, and everybody should do that if you have not yet. Here's car 8 at the Powell and Hyde Loop at the end of Hyde Street. Same thing, 1893, but this car was rebuilt in 2022 by Muni. Long lines to ride these cars. I think if they had the equipment, they probably could expand service based on what we saw in August. And one car, this is actually car 4, renumbered for Willie McCovey, is on display at the Oracle Park where the San Francisco Giants play. So you can, while watching the game, you could come inside, take pictures of this, or just sit in here and watch everybody walk by. And yes, the Giants, they won this day when we came. Other thing of news, the Sonoma Marin Area Rail Transit, the SMART train, which started running in 2017. It's a 45-mile line. It's going to be extended a few times. There's 18 of these Nippon Sharyu DMU cars that operate from here at the Larkspur Landing, which is a ferry connection to San Francisco. And then they travel deeper into Marin and Sonoma. Here's the San Rafael station, huge bus terminal behind me here to give people access to this DMU. And I had to come back for at least one sunny picture at the Marin Civic Center station in San Rafael. The other DMU is the eBART service, which runs from the yellow line, extends from the yellow line of BART east from Pittsburgh to Antioch. There are 3 stations on the line. 8 of these Stadler DMUs are in use. They were built in Switzerland. They cover 9.1 miles, and this opened in 2018. This is the Antioch station, the eastern terminal. Picture from the platform. This is the Pittsburgh Center station. There's a couple of overpasses on here which give you some good shots. Platform pictures are pretty tough. And now we'll just take a couple shots on the yellow line on the way back to San Francisco. This is the Concord station, which was the terminal until 1995 of the yellow line. This is the Fleet of the Future D&E series cars built by Bombardier and Alstom. And they've been coming into service since 2012. That's a long time. A couple pictures again along the yellow line. Just some overpasses. And a few last pictures in San Francisco in the trolley subway. I always like this in my prior visits with the Boeing cars. We'll start at the Embarcadero station. These are their newest cars, Siemens 200 SF cars, built from 2017 on. And the Montgomery station, all under Market Street with the F line above and BART here as well. The Powell station with the Breda cars from 1996. No problems taking pictures anywhere. Everybody's very friendly. Civic Center station. Van Ness station. Recently redone platform here with a Breda. Nice wall graphic here. Again at Van Ness. And what everybody loves to see in San Francisco, the F Market Street line with the historic PCC cars. An ex-New Jersey Transit car in Birmingham, Alabama livery. A San Francisco a Philly car repainted in San Francisco livery. What the cars used to look like here many years ago. Boston Elevated Railway. This is a recent redo. This is a St. Louis car, originally SEPTA 2119, redone for St. Louis. Minneapolis with Newark in the background. Both ex-New Jersey Transit cars from the Newark City subway. Heading down the line on the Embarcadero, this is Pier 39 with a Mexico City car, originally from Newark. Again, Twin Cities. This is a redo since I've been here. This is the 1063, the Baltimore car. Last time I was in San Francisco, it was yellow. There's the Carnival Miracle, which you'll see again later. Pacific Electric, Chicago. There's 1051 again. Toronto, originally from Newark. A Magic Carpet double-ended car, original San Francisco, heading down to the ferry terminal. There's that Twin Cities car again. This is a traction fan's delight. Mexico City. And there's Newark by the ferry terminal. And I'm now on a ferry headed around toward Alcatraz, and there's an El Paso car out. There is Alcatraz, and there is the mentioned Carnival Miracle ship. I just quickly looked this up just to see. This is a $375 million ship built in 2003. And lastly, before leaving San Francisco, we have the 3rd Street line, the T, which runs from Sunnydale to Chinatown, 22 stations, opened in 2007. The last time I was here, this was almost open, a few months away. And the Embarcadero line, the N, under the Bay Bridge, famous place for pictures. And San Francisco is loaded with trolley buses all over the place. I thought this would be the perfect segue to get into some of the older photos. April 1958, the 57 Flushing Avenue route in Brooklyn, under the Flushing Avenue station of the Broadway Brooklyn line, original Kodachrome scan. Of course, you can't do a slideshow without showing a few Mattapan pictures. Boston's Mattapan Ashmont line, that's 3234, one of the redone cars with new propulsion and things from Brookville, done in-house at Everett, posed with the 1957 former Eastern Mass old look bus. This was a combo shot I've always wanted to get, and it certainly looks good on the screen. This was an event by the Metropolitan New York Bus Association of the Motor Bus Society. This is Heath Street. We took the bus around to a few places to pose with some, transit combo shots. This is the Abreda car on the E line at Heath Street. And one of the last shots we took was at the Boston Engine Terminal. Pan Am, former Pan Am 516, an ex-Canadian National engine, now owned by CSX, posed with the bus. As it turns out, like a week or two after this was taken, the one industry that this engine served a few times a week closed, and this engine is no longer here anymore or stored here overnight. So this was a good picture to take. But news in Boston, the Green Line extension came in. This is a shot from the History Files, 1986 at Lechmere. I just want you to see that where that car is today is now where that empty pile of land is right here. Exactly where this is. This here is the new Green Line extension station for Lechmere. And you can see the line continuing in the back where it splits here to go to Somerville or to go to Tufts. So again, Lechmere Station. This was the opening of the Green Line extension phase 2, December 12th, 2022. This is at the opening ceremony and the ribbon cutting. That's what the area looked like without the people. A little bit after that picture was taken. And here is the first few trains running. This is Gilman Square on the Green Line extension out to Tufts, Medford, and the Ball Square station on the same branch, both Breda cars. That's the Green Line extension shops from the air. The picture with the bus and the Pan Am engine was in this area back here, just for reference. And here's a good view of the flyover. The car that you see there will be heading out to Somerville. And the tracks here that are elevated heading east in this view, actually west in reality, will go to Medford Tufts. And these are all access tracks to either Boston Engine Terminal or the Green Line Extension Yard, or there's the MBTA commuter train that goes into North Station. So lots of stuff going on in these in this view. While we're talking about some aerial views, here's the Ashmont Station with a rebuilt PCC car making the loop and heading back down to Mattapan. Now we'll start coming a little closer to home for me in the New York area. Waterbury Station. This was taken in November, and that is a former New York, New Haven and Hartford 1909 built station, now used by a newspaper in Waterbury. Significance to this is the train is reversed and the engine is facing south, which makes for better pictures in the winter for sure. Here is that train headed south through Ansonia. This is, again, Metro North's Waterbury branch with a leased CT rail engine. If you look in the background, you see the concrete, basically floodgates for the Naugatuck River to make sure what has happened in the past doesn't happen again and the town gets flooded. This is a picture my father took in 1983 with a former Amtrak SPV being used at the Derby station on the Waterbury branch, just a little bit south of the picture you saw previously. Switching to Danbury, Providence and Worcester's CT2 freight train, which runs nocturnally on the Danbury branch during the stone season. Here's the engine headed north to Danbury. And here we are at Danbury, passing a Metro North train that is put away for the night. And a 1986 view in Danbury by Erica Shustowitz, who should be on the show, with basically everything that used to run on the Danbury branch, RDCs, SPVs, and FL9s. And Danbury today, or at least a month ago, the Danbury Railway Museum's train and two trains laid up for the weekend, one of which has one of the 40th anniversary engines. Heading back toward the main line. Here we are at the Walk Bridge again. I showed you this earlier with the two 40th anniversary engines. Like I mentioned, it's a 127-year-old bridge that crosses the Norfolk River. You could see phase one of construction getting started with the construction of the new bridge. And that's in Acela. Warehouse Point Trolley Museum had a former Montreal box cab locomotive sitting in front of the museum for many years. It just left maybe 2 weeks ago to go to the Halton County Museum in Ontario, where I'm sure they will take good care of it. This was the day before it left. And that's what they looked like in service in Montreal. I put this picture in because basically, if you look at this view from 1985 from Jerry Landau and you put something in the air, this is the exact same place now. This is the REM, Réseau Express Métropolitain. They call it a light metro. 5 stations opened out of the 20 or so that will be when the network is finished. They use 212 of these Alstom Metropolis cars. These 5 stations opened in July of 2023 from here at Central Station in downtown Montreal, across the St. Lawrence River, into Brossard, where the light rail shops are today. And this is a pretty good combo that shows a via train departing from Central Station with the REM passing it. This is driverless with airport style doors at the stations. So you have to get creative with some pictures because you can't do too much from the platforms themselves. Here is a REM train leaving Montreal Island. This is at the Peel Basin, and all the construction and buildings that have come up here recently as the train heads towards the St. Lawrence River and the Brossard, South Shore communities. Here is a train crossing the St. Lawrence on the new Champlain Bridge with the skyline of Montreal in the background. Beautiful sight to see. Here's a train coming off the bridge from an overpass in Brossard, and a better view of what the cars look like. This is the Du Quartier station, the second station from the terminal in Brossard. This station is leaving, the train is leaving the station. You can see the airport style doors that have to line up for passengers to come in and out of the train. The overpass in the background crosses the highway and accesses a very large shopping mall and with dining opportunities. So this is just a quick look at the REM. In Toronto, Line 3, what used to be known as the Scarborough RT, closed in July. There was an accident there that forced the closure earlier. TTC was planning to close this in November of 2023 and turn it temporarily into a busway before it would be extended with a subway. These cars are older and were becoming difficult to maintain, so the TTC wanted to phase them out. It used to be a 4-mile line subway feeder, and these UTDC linear induction motor cars ran here from day one. So here's just a couple of quick shots, Ellesmere and from Eglinton, with the Scarborough skyline in the background. I'm happy we made a stop here in April. So the line went faster than expected. And closer to home, Parkchester from the air. That's a 6 train with the Cross Bronx Expressway and the Parkchester community. This was home for many years. In this view at Whitlock Avenue on the 6th, you can see the former New York Westchester and Boston's Westchester Avenue station, which closed in 1937. Right over here, if you can see my mouse, with a little October foliage. Back from the history files, this is 59th Street and 2nd Avenue, February 8th, 1940. You can see the tracks branching off to the right to access the Queensboro Bridge. This is an original Kodachrome slide that I scanned today. There's another one that I scanned today that actually didn't even have time to make it into my notes. The slide says north at 125th Street and 8th Avenue. Original Kodachrome from February 8th, 1940. Always like to look at the old L shots from New York. New Jersey news. This is the Raritan River Bridge replacement construction. You can see the new bridge being built adjacent to the current one in use. This is the North Jersey coastline between Perth Amboy and South Amboy. I went back to the history files here. This is a steam train, 1957, original Kodachrome. Didn't scan perfectly, but you get the idea. Ben Franklin Bridge in Philly. I'm standing in Camden, looking at Philly. You can see a Patco train on the bridge. Another view of Patco. From the history files, Bayhead Yard, Labor Day, 1963. I wish I could go back to these times with a camera, but it's getting better with all the heritage engines, but it's certainly nice to see the history files and not to neglect the old trolley fans. Here we have a Detroit car, PCC 130, original Kodachrome slide with no date. And unfortunately, some public service cars meeting their maker in the early 1960s. This I thought is an awesome shot in Weehawken, New York Central engine switching with a Cunard cruise ship in the background leaving New York for points unknown. Original Kodachrome as well, scanned from June 1967. Erie Lackawanna in June of 1971 at Spring Valley. Montauk, Long Island in the 1950s. This is where they used to Y the trains. Trains would come in with engines on the east end, and they'd Y trains around here. Used to vacation out here a lot. Only saw a train on this once. You can see Montauk Manor in the background on the right. And for the last couple slides, hopefully we don't see too much of this white stuff this winter, but this is the famous Sudbury to White River RDC, which runs 3 days a week in each direction. This is the Sudbury station in Ontario. This is 4 hours north of Toronto. They use these beautifully restored RDCs in this service. Usually it's 2 or 3 cars, depending on the amount of people on the train. They also run this really cool RDC-4 baggage only car to deal with all the canoes and supplies that ride in the summer. But this was April Fool's Day in 2023, and it was supposed to be a dusting of snow, and we sure got fooled. This is on the train heading north to White River. Friendly crew stopped a few times for us to take pictures. This was in the middle of the worst part of the blizzard at the Cartier station. And it was really difficult to walk up here to take this picture, but I'm happy I did. And I want to wish everybody a very happy holiday season. Enjoy whatever you celebrate. This is the Santa train on the Berkshire Scenic Railway from a couple of weeks ago with Santa and Mrs. Claus wishing you a happy holiday as well. I hope everyone enjoyed. Thank you. And thanks to those people who aided in the presentation today.